My name is Lee Rogers. I'm from Cynthiana, Indiana. I was born in Cynthiana and raised there and a Posey County resident. As I begin to give my testimony, I've done this maybe once to a small crowd, and then most of the time it's given to individuals, or I talk to individuals. So there's a few things I like to give up front, or talk about up front, some rules maybe. One is, my testimony is to tell you my story, and knowing that, I want people to understand that everybody has their own story, and they need to look at this from the point of view of how can they tell that story, and how can they use that to help others, or help others get through situations that may be happening in their lives. It's not to be my story's sadder than yours, or I have something that you've not suffered through. So with that said, as we get through this, if you run into me in public and you walk up to me and say, I'm sorry for your loss, or I'm sorry for that situation, then you'll have missed the point of this testimony. Again, my name is Lee Rogers. I'm from Posey County. I was born and raised here. I grew up in a church with a family that went to church in Wadesville, Indiana, at the General Baptist Church there. My family believed in God. We was raised to believe in God, baptized in that church. But as a young man, I didn't really fully understand what that meant to be in the church. And as a young man, you live on your own strengths, and you feel that you're invincible. And as you're growing up and going through those teenage and early adolescence. I met my wife, Brooke Rogers, and married her in 1998, and we were living a life of normalcy. Our home, we both worked, and things were going the way life we felt should. Our first son was born to us in 2002. A beautiful little boy, and his name was Dylan. And again, things were just normal as could be, both working jobs, raising our son. And then in 2005, he became ill and was diagnosed with medulloblastoma brain cancer. And we began a 8-month-long battle against that disease. What I didn't realize was coming up through that and being raised in that church was God was preparing me for situations that I didn't even realize it. I didn't pay attention to the people He put in front of me. I didn't pay attention to the situations that were in my life that were not preparing me just for the death of my child, but the ability to interact with others around me. Over that 8-month period of his sickness, I didn't stop believing in God, but I stopped asking God the why. I stopped wondering why He was allowing me to be alone, why the situation was being allowed to occur. As a young man, it's very difficult the moment you realize that you can't protect your family and your child or your wife. It takes a lot out of you. And in 2006, Dylan passed away, and the next few years became very difficult. Again, I didn't stop believing in the Lord, but we argued a lot. I cursed at him, I yelled at him, I asked why, and our conversations were never good. At the same time, I put up a wall of strength to protect what I thought was protecting my wife and preventing her from seeing weakness in me. But again, the whole time the Lord was working on me. He was doing things in my life that I did not recognize as Him preparing me for what He wanted me to do. In 2009, my wife came up to me and said she wanted to adopt. This was after we'd had a conversation that we didn't want to have kids anymore. We weren't interested in that. This was early on, but in 2009, her faith had brought her to the point where she was ready to adopt. We wanted to adopt a child, and I said, let's do this. And this is where my faith started to strengthen again. Making the decision to adopt not only a child that I did not know, but from a foreign land. We decided to go to Russia. All the uncertainties of bringing in a child that's not blood from halfway around the world. And it was amazing at that time. I asked the Lord to just hit me with a billboard of the right thing to do, and He did. When things started to occur, people started to enter our lives that we had no idea otherwise would be there. Conversations. I remember being afraid of the unknown, the not having faith in the situation. And I was out in the barn working one day, and we had got a referral of a child to it was Tristan, and I was very nervous about some of the information and actually going to get him. And I'll never forget my dad walking through the door. My dad and I had never had conversations of, life things. Growing up, where you just, if you did something stupid, he just told you did, and you didn't do that anymore. Or if you did something right, he'd tell you did something right and let it go. We just never had conversations around life circumstances. And he asked me why I was so hesitant on going and getting this kid. And I told him I'm afraid of the cost of it, the uncertainty. Is this child, if you're adopting, is the child healthy? Are they going to have mental problems? Or, do you really have control of that anyway? And Dad just told me that was ridiculous and get on the airplane and go. So we did. And that's when we got Tristan and we brought him home. And it was the whole time, everything was completely God-driven. And it opened my eyes to what I wasn't doing was putting all of my faith into the Lord. After that, I began routinely starting my mornings praying to the Lord what it was He wanted me to do that day. And that's when I started to notice people around me, their needs, striking up conversations with somebody who may be in a line at a gas station, maybe sitting in church, and just having that ability to interact with somebody in some difficulty that they may be going through, and looking at ways that you could help. By 2012, a job that I'd worked for many years had become it became a place that I didn't want to be anymore, and I had taken on a different job, and around the same time, Brooke had come to me again and said she wanted to adopt a little girl, or wanted a little girl. I said, well, there's really only one way to accomplish that, and we need to adopt. So I started praying a lot. I was needing out of a job, I needed to get out of a job. I needed to get into something different, something less stressful. Trying to navigate that plus adoption was extremely heavy on the family, and we were just having a lot of difficulty around it. The day I quit my job, we received a phone call from the adoption agency that they had a little girl that needed care. And I had 3 weeks off, so I said, well, bring her to Cynthia and we'll take care of her. And of course, Michaela was with us. She never left, and we still got her. So totally faith-based. The point of all of this would be, you cannot go through anything in your life on your own. You have got to get God to reach in, have faith that He's got you, use that prayer, get into your Bible. I'm not one to sit and just pound that on to somebody, but if you're going through something in your life, if you're having difficulty moving to that next stage, pray to the Lord about it. Pray hard about it. Ask for that faith, ask for that help from Him. and have faith that He will answer your prayers. Don't think you can do things on your own. I don't care if it's changing a job. I don't care if it's going through difficult times with a child that's sick or a parent that's sick. We are currently in a tough situation within our world. You know, people are fearful. There's no reason to be fearful. The Lord has us on this. We have to be smart, but we have to believe that the Lord has us in this. You know, pray to Him about that. I encourage everybody, every morning you get up, pray to the Lord, ask Him to show you what He wants you to do that day. And then be open to those situations. They may be small, they may be big, but understand that it's what He wants you doing. Don't be fearful. Don't be afraid of the unknown. That's faith. Have faith in the things that you want to accomplish, the things that He wants you to accomplish. A person's ability to rely on the Lord is solely on faith. But it will work out. You will be okay. These things that are bad at the moment will pass. And if I look back in my life and look at the things that happened, the death of my son, just things that you look at and say were bad, they're a small portion of your life. It was 8 months of my life. It was 8 months of my wife's life. We've got so much bigger things that we have done, good things that we've been part of, great people within our lives. We are blessed with the people that are around us. We are blessed with each other. The Lord has blessed us with many things. Why He chose to take my son, why is not an answer that I will get on this earth, but I will be with my son again someday. That I know, and I have faith in that. People need to understand, if the Lord and you have that relationship, you will find strength and you will get through this.
Though none go with